Welcome back once again to the Resilient Entrepreneur Podcast. That's right, it's Kevin Johnson of Leverage Consulting, and I said the other day, I've got another good podcast queued up for you, and this one is something that I guarantee you will do more business if you listen to this and you put this to use. So earlier this week, I was getting ready to make an introduction. I got to meet a new group of people, and before I got into the meeting, I did a little research. And in doing that research, it got me thinking about people that I do business with. And it got me thinking about others like yourself who do business and probably want to do more business. So I got my degree in accounting, and I worked in tax for about 6 years, and ultimately found out that's not where my passion was in life. And over time, I got into a field I literally knew nothing about. Now, looking back, when I worked in an accounting practice, I was basically helping people. And in what I do now, I am helping people. I got into a new field, and I got into working with dentists and surgeons and orthodontists and so forth over time. And ultimately, I've had numbers of people say to me, wow, you really seem to know a lot about this. And these are about things that are clinical, things I've never been trained in. But the core of all this is I like to at least sound like I know what I'm talking about. I don't like being put in positions where I feel like, I just feel like I'm stupid. I don't care for that. And I'm sure you don't either. And we tend to gain a lot of respect when people get the impression we know what we're talking about. So before the meeting that I had earlier this week, I sat down and spent a little bit of time behind the computer on the keyboard and just learning who I'm going to be talking to. And I learned more about them and their business and so forth. And this is something that I would have you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How well do you do that? And I think it's funny because in some respects, if you come across a video on TikTok or you see something on Facebook and it's from someone comments on someone else's post and you don't recognize this person, and then suddenly we're going down the rabbit hole of, okay, this person is in this industry or field, and then I start searching on the company that they work for, and then I see, they have 3 kids, and I want to see what their kids look like. And 20 minutes later, I could probably write a 5-page report on what I learned on social media in 5 minutes. And the question I have for you is whether you're going to go do a listing presentation, you are going to be doing something with a new business, you're going to lunch and you're going to meet someone, it's the first time you've ever met. The question is, how much do you really put into actually learning more about that person before you go sit down and talk with them? And there was a new client that started not long ago, and it didn't take me long to figure out this person likes fishing. There's another that I have known for a long time, and I did a little bit of research, and I found out what their hobby is. I can get on social media and figure out what people's interests are, whether they are all into their family, whether they're all into a hobby, when their birthdays are, and shame on me. I was with someone last week, had no idea it was their birthday. I would have done things differently if I'd have known it was their birthday. But it was their birthday while I was there, had no idea. But again, shame on me, didn't know that. But how cool would it be to walk into a meeting and already have something, or sit down and you acknowledge that person's birthday? You sit down and in conversation you acknowledge, I see you're into, and let's just say it's fly fishing. I see you're really into fly fishing. I saw you were in Montana. It tells that person that you're not just flying by the seat of your pants. And that I do feel there's a lot of folks out there that really just fly by the seat of their pants and think, I'll just get through it, or I'll figure it out as I go along. And there will always be some element of that. But you're at least furthering the conversation down the road if you're automatically jumping in and saying, I see you love to fly fish and you were just in Montana. Or I see that you and your kids were just at the U.S. National Whitewater Center in Charlotte. You can do things like that and really further the conversation. And when you can get that other party to smile, And let's face it, you get to talking about something that they're passionate about, you're going to get them to smile. And that in itself is a huge win. Again, if you want to do more business, learn more about the people who you're going to meet or who you're going to talk to. Learn the things that are going to put a smile on their face. We're all looking to do something. When we meet with someone, we want to accomplish something. If I get the other party to smile, then whatever we're going to do together is going to be that much easier. Whether it's just the lunch that we're talking about today, or if it's future business that we will do together, getting that person to smile is huge. And it could be that you do some of this over the phone. It might be things that you see even after the fact. You find something on social media that might be of interest to that person. You forward it to them in a text message or something. Again, I'm putting a smile on their face. But as I said, just the little, you can call it research, call it whatever you want. Just learn more about that individual before you ever talk to them, before you sit down and go to lunch with them, or before you have any longer, meaningful conversations. And if any of you think this sounds like a lot of work, well, if I can increase the likelihood of myself doing business with someone just by learning a little bit about them, and if that decreases the number of people I have to talk to. So for example, if you can do business with 5 out of every 10 people that you talk to, just by doing a little bit of homework, then you're making doing business or growing your business that much easier. But if you only have a ratio of talking to 10 people and you only end up doing business with 1 to 2 of them, well, how many people will you have to talk to grow your business? So let's just say you need 10 more clients or 10 more customers. In the first scenario, I only have to talk to 20 people. In the second scenario, where you only end up doing business with 1 out of 10, you have to talk to 100 people. Well, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a lot of work to me. So if you increase the likelihood just by having good, genuine conversation about them, all the more work. And again, I keep saying work. Everything in life in some way, shape, or form is work, but I'm only talking about 3 things. If you walked into that meeting with 3 good pearls, again, if you know something about their family, you know something about a hobby, and you know something about a recent vacation or something of the sort, you know that they went to a really awesome continuing education course, or at least the continuing education was in a great place, something along those lines, you have 3 very meaty topics to talk about in your meeting. And I assure you, they will very much appreciate you coming in with value, and it's not 2 people staring at their lunch plates, moving the food around, trying to find something to talk about. You came armed, you came prepared, and you had very genuine conversation that will likely turn into something. So as I said in the beginning of this podcast, I would be shocked if you didn't listen to this podcast and employ the things that I just talked about in this podcast and not end up doing more business. I would be absolutely shocked. So with that said, that was another Resilient Entrepreneur podcast. As I've said in so many other podcasts, if you have interests or ideas or something you'd love for me to talk about in a podcast or even one-on-one, reach out to me, send me a direct message, put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.